I am now live. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and it is Monday at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I've been spending my weekend. I've been trying to kind of take a break from things, and I am legitimately planning on making a run starting next Monday, not necessarily this Monday, but I am going to be making a run where I want to start doing daily content again through the rest of this bear market into the next bull market, wherever it may lead. And I'm trying to put together kind of a plan on how do I make this kind of a full-time thing. I mean, it has been for the most part for years, but you know, it's been difficult. And so I'm definitely planning because there's so much stuff going on in the world. And you know, I think it's difficult, especially on YouTube. It's difficult to break through the projected narratives of what's happening in the world around us without being kind of flagged or censored or whatever. And it's very difficult to paint the more realistic picture as to what's happening and therefore what to expect. And that even in the crypto market, I'm seeing a lot of BS narratives in the crypto space. And it's honestly what spawned me to do this live today. And it's especially, yes, it is live, Adam R. We are live right now. So I'm going to address some of this stuff. I'm going to move my fan a little bit because it's a little warm. But I am going to address some of this stuff. And I'm going to let you in on a couple things that I'm planning on doing. Number one, when I do start doing daily content, I do plan on doing daily technical analysis at the beginning of every video. And this is for two reasons. One, because I like doing it. I've been doing TA for a while, for years now. And I think it's time I go ahead and start showing it, because I think that there's a lot to be said about TA, even in the current bear market, but not unrelated to what's going on in the world. And I'm going to kind of demonstrate some of that. Maybe not today, but probably Monday. Two, I'm going to see if I can trade $100 into $1,000 and see how long that takes me. And I don't mean doing that with a bunch of weird apps that nobody's ever heard of, or, you know, get rich quick kind of things or any of that. Just scalp trading $100 to $1,000. And I want to document that. And so, and if I'm able to, the only problem with that is I may have to show trades I've made in the past day or hours, because I'm not going to be able to sit here all day and record my entire life and then edit it all out. It would take an insane amount of time. But I do want to do that, and I am going to be doing that with the help of this, and this is not paid. I'm just kind of showing you guys real quick what I'm going to be working with. I'm going to try to use Chart Prime, and I'm waiting for my guidebook. I had a video call with the creator of this and a power user, and it's pretty slick. I always love Market Cipher, but for most people, Market Cipher is pretty expensive. And this is much cheaper, and it's like $50 a month or something like that. And I'm going to be spending the next week learning every little nuance of this so that I can create my own system of trading for scalps. And so I'm just kind of letting you guys know that's part what I'm going to be doing. There'll be affiliates and all that kind of stuff. But I am going to use leverage, but I'm only going to go to 3x. I want to be able to short positions that I want to short. I want to go long. I want to short. I want to do all of it. And here's the thing. For years now, I've been through 2 cycles. I've never traded the down cycle. I've never traded the bear market through shorting. And it's insane to me that I haven't done this, because I should be able to do this rather than, you know, long-term invest, buy in the bear market, accumulate over time, and then, you know, wait for the market to move up and up and up as I'm accumulating over time, and then trying to sell as close to the peak as I can when I've been able to confirm it. I've been reading a couple of trading books. Like I'm reading this one right now, How to Day Trade for a Living. I have a bunch of books. I have a bunch in my bathtub because that's where I do the majority of my reading. And you know, it turns out that I'm a very particular kind of trader. And, I'm one of those trade. Well, it defined me to the T. And I was like, listen, this could be extremely profitable, but you're missing out on a lot of the midway opportunities. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. So I'm going to be taking, a small amount of funds, and I'm just going to start day trading it and basically sharing my TA as I do it. For no other reason than to continue educating myself, pushing me further to educate myself, to get good, and then share that journey with you guys, using the tools that I'm using, doing everything that I can. And then obviously I'm going to have segments on the news and what's going on, and then final commentary. And I'm estimating every video is probably going to be somewhere around 45 minutes every single day. Now, I want to address a couple things, because this kind of stuff, in a sense, kind of disgusts me a little bit. This is 2 articles by an individual, Valdrin Tahiri, on beincrypto.com. Solana and Avalanche. Let me show you. I'll pull these up. Solana and Avalanche price prediction: ensuing bullish breakouts could spell end of correction. And at the same time, Cardano price continues to slide with no near-term bullish catalysts. This is the kind of bullshit that I see, and I'm like, this individual appears to have an agenda. Okay. And I see this all the time, and they're showing these charts, and let's take a look. So we could look at Ethereum, right? We can look at Ethereum, and it's just been triggered with my chart prime as a downtrend, right? Like a downtrend confirmed, and it is continuing to go down. And I'm watching this, and then I look at Bitcoin. This is my Bitcoin weekly that I've been referencing for a long time now. And you can see we're pretty much sideways. As I've said time and time again, we're going to be sideways for quite a while. And I've actually changed this bars pattern line chart from the NASDAQ 2003 all the way out to, I think it was like 2008 or something like that. And I've condensed this down. I've squeezed it all in to kind of fit where we're at, because this is basically what I think. This looks the most accurate. And this is showing that by like 2020, I don't remember what date. Let me, if I can get to it. Hold on. Yeah. So I ended it here at about 2027, and somewhere around 300 grand for Bitcoin, right? Now, here's what I think. There are a couple things that I think are happening and what's going on. Number one, for those of you that have been following me for a long time, you guys know that I called, Richard Hart takes a lot of credit, but I went above Richard Hart. No disrespect to Richard Hart at all. I absolutely do respect what he's done. And it seems like of all the big crypto projects in the space, as much as I never cared that much for Hex or now Pulse Chain and the other, he's still here, man. I mean, those projects are still here. They're down like everything else, but you don't see Richard Hart, all over the place. Like he scammed this person, he rug pulled this, he did that. So far, so good for all of you Hex holders and you Pulse Chain lovers and this and that. I actually wouldn't even be opposed to having a little bit for giggles, kind of like the XRP. I have some XRP for fun. I even have a little bit of Solana for fun, for no other reason that it's so VC controlled and marketed and pushed that, I mean, it's bound to go up, whether it's a quality blockchain, in my opinion, or not. That's just the nature of the Wild West of crypto right now. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to make dollars. And that's kind of the, I think the unspoken motto of the crypto space when it comes to a lot of this stuff. But anyway, I see a lot of these narratives playing out, and I think to myself, okay, we have the last market cycle, I called the peak of the market, and I called the double peak on April 13th on Twitter. I posted the one comment, everyone started losing their minds, and then I followed up with, this is going to be a 2-peak cycle. And everybody was like, you're crazy. There's no way you could know that. That's, blah, 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 blah. I was dead ass accurate, was I not? Did Richard Hart call that 2-peak cycle? He did not. Did anyone else? Was anyone else out there on Twitter or anywhere calling a 2-peak cycle? not to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, okay? And this isn't me trying to be arrogant much. No, I'm just kidding. No, it really isn't. But I've later explained in other videos how I came up with that two-peak market theory and how I called that two-peak market on the same day as I called the peak, right? And there's always so much more happening in the price of Bitcoin than just what's on this chart, all right? Oh my gosh, these fake accounts on here drive me nuts, and they just don't stop trying to delete these bastages as I see them pop up. And I'm going to get to all of your comments and your questions because I'm not always right. And we're going to address those. I'm happy to. So anyway, we had this two-peak cycle, and what we noticed is that rather than having this significant blow off top above $100,000 Bitcoin, we ended up peaking out once and then dropping significantly and then coming back and basically getting a higher peak than the previous one. So it was almost like our big parabolic bull run was almost cut in half, and it played out very differently. I believe that based off of everything going on in the world right now and how governments all over the place are basically working to adopt these CBDC tokens and what that means for society, for control, for ease of transactions and all sorts of stuff, right? You know, if you think that the US is bringing on 87,000 new IRS agents because they just want to go after a few rich guys with accounts in the Cayman Islands, you're nuts. They're going to need these people to monitor blockchain activity with these CBDCs and making sure that if you mowed the lawn for somebody and they paid you in a digital transaction with a CBDC and you made $50 and you do that 5 times a week, that you're paying taxes on it, which has not been, a thing for so long. If you're a server at a restaurant and you're tipped, that's going to be taxed properly. You're not going to just say, oh, I'm only going to claim so much this year. It's not going to work that way anymore, folks. And so, and people are starting to open their eyes and understand what some of this means. It's not all a bed of roses. And the people that are really going to be well established by the time a lot of this stuff plays out between 2025 and 2030 is my guess. As we're working on the regulation now, we're working on all these different elements to it now to prepare for what's coming by 2030. And we're going to, and so much is going to be happening between now and then. Now, what I'm seeing is I see garbage like this trying to persuade people that there's going to be this bullish breakout and that Solana and Avalanche and basically whatever this guy's apparently holding, in my opinion, I don't know what he's holding. I didn't even read the articles. I already know based off of the fact that he wrote that one and this one. It seems like everybody's always trying to pump Solana and push Cardano down. I've got news for you. If you're new to this channel, there is absolutely no competition or comparison whatsoever in Cardano and Solana. Okay, there's none whatsoever. And when Hydra really starts to kick off and the transactional throughput really starts to kick into high gear, and transactions on Cardano are basically instantaneous and not bottlenecked in any way, and everything. There is going to be no blockchain out there that can do what Cardano does, in my opinion. Now, we'll see, but that's where I stand on that. Now, when I'm looking at these articles and I'm thinking, okay, so they're obviously, we see some of this stuff, bullish breakout could spell the end of correction. All right, maybe some of these get a bullish breakout, but when I look at the charts, I don't really care right now. When I look at these charts, I'm looking for scalp trades. I mean, these are a few EMAs, a couple of indicators on a Bollinger Band, and I'm looking at resistance. I'm looking at I'm looking at all the little key metrics, but I'm looking at little trades. This is a 15-minute chart right here. Okay, now why is the title of this video "Don't be fooled by Bitcoin bottoms"? Well, because I'm going to give you a couple reasons. All right. As you guys see, I've got 175 people live right now, right? I used to have 2,000 before, the stuff happened with YouTube. And then, I moved and, I stopped doing daily lives and all that fun stuff, right? And I'm going to be getting back to that. However, what you see is you're going to see a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people reaching a capitulation stage, right? You're going to be seeing a lot of people who they want the clicks, they want the views because they're desperately trying to incite FOMO. A lot of people are going to get more and more impatient, right? And you're going to start seeing that in a lot of content out there. This is going to go to the moon. This is going to go to the moon. The bottom could be in. The bottom is here. The bottom is here. I'm telling you right now, it's not. The bottom is not anywhere close. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why, and as honest as I can give you without hopefully triggering anything that's going to shut it down. A lot of the stuff is public knowledge, but it's like you can take a public article and it can be factual, but you can regurgitate it and make the slightest wrong thing and boom, you're flagged for whatever, right? And you never know because nobody ever tells you anymore. It's that's the way things are anymore. You know, in a tyrannical system, the idea is that you get so afraid of being censored that you censor yourself. We're obviously there, okay? And we're learning in hindsight now how accurate some of the quote unquote potential misinformation may or may not have been. Now, when I look at what's going on in the current climate politically, okay, and I know this is a hotbed issue for a lot of you guys. I know so many of you guys are on all sides of the fence, okay? Totally fine. This isn't about a right or left thing, okay? If you think that the situation we're in right now is a, let me put it to you this way. I don't care if you are right, left, or dead center. There are people of all walks of life in all avenues of government, in all governments across the world, in my opinion, working together to facilitate an agenda that has nothing to do with freedom or prosperity for all. All there is to it. And it doesn't take much to look into really anything that's happened over the past several years and put these pieces together and understand the overall goals of those who are pulling the strings on what's going on. Not just what's going on, but how we interpret what is going on through the media, through basically the media in a nutshell. There's so much truth that's being squashed, and there's so much, let's just say, untruths that are being pushed constantly, right? What do people say? If you tell a lie long enough, people will start to believe it as truth. Well, that's the case. Now, to be more specific about why I'm telling people to stop assuming that a Bitcoin bottom is in, because there isn't going to be a Bitcoin bottom for some time, in my humble opinion. And the reason I believe that is because of the global narrative right now, okay? There's a lot of stuff that's been happening between the Biden administration and China. You know, I could pull up some articles, but I'm afraid to get too deep into a lot of this stuff. How many of you guys know that Biden basically just said, if you are an American and you're working overseas in China on any of this technology, you can either quit your jobs or lose your citizenship? I think you have to look that up. I think that's the gist of a part of what just happened, and nobody's talking about that. Ultimately trying to make China shut down, right? Now, is that a good move or a bad move? I don't know. I don't understand all of the little intricacies of that. What else do we see? Well, we see a lot of different wars brewing all over the place. Do I think we're going to end up in a nuclear war? No, I don't really think so. I don't think anybody actually wants that. I don't think that anyone, I don't think, no matter how stupid or ridiculous you could think a particular group of people may or may not be, I don't think that they're stupid enough to think that inciting nuclear war on a global level is a good move. I just don't see that. And we can say that we want to believe, oh, well, this is a bad person, they'll do anything. This is a bad person, they'll do anything. I disagree, because you know what? All of these quote unquote bad people, and as it relates to whatever propaganda we're sucking up from day to day, they all have families, they all have people that would otherwise be unprotected by the aftermath of what is to come. And I don't think anybody wants to sign off on their legacy or their family. Okay. So when I think about what's going on, I think about it in terms of we're pushing buttons to try and force a global agenda that some still do not agree with. Okay. And because and I think some of these countries are seeing the way this agenda has affected other countries that have adopted this ideology that's being pushed all the way into bankruptcy and decimation on an economic level, on every level, right? And I can't name specifics because I'm trying to avoid being triggered by just sharing my thoughts. Hopefully some of you can understand some of this and maybe do your own reading and figure out, maybe read between some of the lines. Now, how does this relate to Bitcoin, crypto, bottoms, and so forth? It's simple. Right now, we have an election coming in November. I don't think anything is going to take a bigger shit until after the election. I think that markets, as best they can, are going to be propped up with matchsticks, waiting to crack the second the elections are over for one reason or another, however they may go. Okay. And I was just reading some stuff about Biden, OPEC and all of this stuff, and Biden basically saying, hey, like they outed Biden basically saying, hey, can you hold off on this whole thing you guys are doing until, can you wait a month until you start basically squeezing our oil a bit? And basically said, hey, can you not make it so tough on us so the gas prices don't shoot through the roof before we get through this election? And it's like, I don't know what's true or not. Okay. But I mean, I watched and the way countries mess with each other. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Go watch the video of these individuals speaking and figure it out for yourself. But the point is, until the elections are concluded, I don't see us imploding just yet. After the elections, well, we'll see. But I'm not expecting any bottoms from anything until after November. Okay. And here's the thing, when a lot of you guys out there, you're just watching all of these crypto YouTubers who are talking about TA this, TA that, TA this, TA that. You've got these guys, Solana's going to turn bullish and Cardano's sluggish. And, you've got these narratives from these crypto holders, right? And I see this kind of I don't know, false narrative, I don't know, maybe it's just an opinion and that's fine. Have your own opinion. I can think it's garbage. That's okay. A lot of people can think my opinions are absolute garbage, and that's okay. That is kind of what makes the world turn, right? It's somebody having an opposing view and then challenging that view with data, facts, information, other opinions. How do you string A, B, and C together? And what does that conclude for you? And if you can present that to me in a way that makes sense, I might adopt some of that idea or that opinion. That is the way communication, that is the way debate is supposed to go. People who speak truths don't fear being questioned. People who speak loose lies and false narratives absolutely refuse to be questioned because they know that there isn't anything that they can stand on to defend their position. So when I see a lot of this stuff happening, and I see this in the news and I see this in crypto, you're never really going to fully understand, I think, what is to be expected in the crypto space unless you better understand what's going on in the world around you. When things are good and the news is good and everything seems happy, hunky-dory, well, then, yeah, go to the charts because you're able to establish more consistent trends because the charts are going to be a little less volatile. And the movement and activity in the crypto space is going to be dictated by the accolades, milestones, and accomplishments of those particular projects, right? So you've got the fundamentals and you've got the TA. Fundamentals mean a lot in a bull market. Fundamentals don't necessarily mean so much in a bear market, other than these are projects to continue keeping your eye on and potentially averaging into throughout the bear market so that when the bull market hits, all of these new advancements and milestones reached with that particular technology can send your project's valuation to the moon, right? through use case, through adoption, right? And a lot of projects save up. A lot of projects store up, their news releases and things. What don't you see? You don't see Cardano doing that. You don't see a lot of projects that are in the top tier of the crypto market caps storing up their information or their accolades. No, they're always building. They're building partnerships. They're building awareness. Charles just got back from Washington. These projects are actively trying to build not just a token of speculative value, but a tool for long-term global use cases. And so that is what I base a lot of my interest in a lot of these projects. But the overall news and what's going on in the world plays a significant role in what happens in the short and long term. So while a technical analyst can look at a weekly chart of BitCoin and say, oh, I think we're going to go here and I think we're going to do this. I mean, look at what's happening. This is a weekly chart. Okay. The blue line, I mean, this is the price action. It's just a line chart instead of candles. But I mean, listen, we've been sideways now. This is October 17th. This was back in September 22nd. I mean, we've basically flatlined on a weekly basis. And people could say, oh, we're going to bottom. We're bottoming. This is a bottom. No, I disagree. I absolutely disagree. And I think we're going to find out soon, very likely after November, that we're not at any kind of position for a bottom. All right. And I would be very wary of anyone who's trying to make one believe that we have bottomed or are at a bottom. Now, I could be wrong. Okay. Let me be very abundantly clear. I'm not always right. I was wrong about Celsius, wasn't I? I mean, I thought Celsius Network, I thought they had the best mission. I thought their goals, their everything, the people, the team, everybody. I thought Alex was a man of the people for the people, and I believed that. I really believed Alex was like a pure fight the power kind of soul that was the idea that what has been apparently transpiring with Alex and Celsius is truly, truly heartbreaking. And that in itself is another lesson that I really don't think I can trust anyone in the crypto space anymore. I really don't. I don't think I can trust anyone in the crypto space because, I want to, I really want to, and I think I think I'm just too naive. I really think I'm just too naive, and I always have been. I've always been naive with women. I've always been naive with. I feel like I see people and I buy their mask. I buy their face value or something. I mean, I have gotten a lot better about it, but I just, I don't know. It never ceases to surprise me how there are so many people who are absolutely out to serve themselves. I mean, I've made mistakes in the crypto space, and I always try to do things to make them better. You know what I mean? I always try to improve on a position and improve on whatever it is that I'm doing. I've had a bunch of people ask me on Twitter, like, what do you think of what's going on with Alex and Celsius? And I'm like, what is there to think other than like gut wrenched? Like, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So let's get into some of the questions that I might have sitting in here. And let me know in the comments, below if you understand what I'm trying to get across. We could bottom soon, but I don't think we're going to bottom until after November. And I think that a lot of what we see right now, I think a lot of it is smoke and mirrors, man. I don't think I've ever been privy to or have witnessed so much, I don't know what the word is, coordination on a lot of people, oh, well, there's a recession everywhere in the world. Because all of these global leaders are all a part of the same group, the same think tank, trying to establish this power structure, utilizing I don't know how you want to call it, the climate change or whatever as kind of the conduit. It's like they like to take things that appear to be natural causes or narratives that may be spun in a different direction and then use those to establish a further element of control over the populace. And I mean, I feel like to some degree we saw a lot of that start taking place heavily after 9/11, and it's like we're always told it's for our own good, but is it? I mean, how much of it is for our own good? And how much of it is just to I don't know, keep us all in line. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, I'm not expecting any bottoms until I'm sure there were actually more points that I wanted to make, but got my alert. Always a good day. Well, good. I'm glad. CC is never shy of speaking his heart out. I am shy though, because there's so much more I want to say. And I actually checked on Rumble today, and there's like not even 1,000 subs on there yet, even though all the videos from my YouTube channel get automatically published over there. And it's really difficult to try and really put a lot of effort over there because I don't really have, there's no algorithm to help. It's all, it's almost like trying to promote an indie band in a new neighborhood. You got to like pass out flyers and stuff to get people to follow you. People don't get how bad the economy will be next year. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that the real bottoms are going to come in 2023. And I don't see anything concrete happening prior to November. Then after that, you've got December and January. We're into 2023. And I think that's where the real pain starts. I think that's where the true capitulation begins. And I think that's where we start seeing some significant transition. Now, depending on how the elections unfold, but, I have my own theory on whether or not the elections even happen. I mean, honestly, at all. I mean, who knows what sort of state of emergency we could end up in by November. I don't know. Hopefully we don't. I really hope we don't. But depending on what could potentially happen, if we pick enough fights, I don't know. We could end up in a big high state of alert that may continue on for years. I mean, to me, I've if there's anything I've come to realize is that absolutely anything is possible now that I would have never thought possible just a few years ago. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to it doesn't have to even it just doesn't have to make any sense whatsoever. It doesn't mean it's not possible. If it's going to benefit someone in power, it could absolutely happen right now. And the public be damned when it comes to any of that stuff. The pothead, Crow is the man. There's a lot of garbage out there now, and I appreciate you taking the time to put out info you think is relevant. I do try to, and again, I'm not always right. I in fact hope I'm very wrong about a lot of things that I believe and that I feel. The problem is that I feel like I'm accurate more than I'm not, and you don't understand. I ponder things and I think about things and I'm reading things. I'm watching videos. I'm reading books. I'm constantly absorbing so much. And the thing of it is I'm not somebody that loves to be in like a personal echo chamber of people that agree with me. I am always seeking out people to engage and to chat with that have completely different opinions than me, because I want to understand how their perspective on things got to where it is. I don't feel like anybody can fully understand something without looking at all sides of it. And that's just the way I try to look at things. There's always two sides. Really, there's always three sides to just about every story. The economy is in serious trouble. I wouldn't be buying anything right now. Yeah, in the housing market, excuse me one second. The housing market, I think, is going to take a huge doo-doo. And, I've been contemplating basically building a small number of Airbnb units. because I believe that the short-term rental market is going to become such the norm as we move closer to 2030. And, everybody is going to be working remotely. Well, what are people going to want to do? They're going to probably travel more and more and get out there and see different parts of the world. And I think short-term rental is going to be a much bigger market than it is even today. I think it's going to continue growing. And, I have some friends and we're all kind of talking and we're working on some ideas on, basically buying a little plot of land, put up 4 or 5 units, theme them out, and start marketing them and start building a business that way. The thing of it is doing so right now probably isn't going to be the best bet because the market's going to crash. I mean, I think we're going to see a significant drop in everything in 2023. So yeah. Let's see here. It's the macro economy, not crypto in isolation. Yeah, well, we shall see. We shall see how everything turns out. I see some stuff about Hex and Richard and stuff. It is what it is. I mean, if it treats people well, and I mean, who knows? All right, so I saw this earlier. Crypto Crow, you said 21.8 will be bottom when everyone said 27 will be bottom. With change dynamics, what do you think will be the bottom, and what time frame do you predict? So, I mean, where are we at right now? We're at 19.4. We got, I think we wicked down to like 17.5 at one point. I had all this stuff figured. I mean, as far as time frame, I don't think we're going to see an official bottom until 2023. Okay, and I as far as what will the price be, I think the last time I was looking at things, what is this? This was around 9,500. Whether you like that or not, it wouldn't shock me to see Bitcoin hit 9,500, which is still over double what the previous bottom was. Okay. But that's not looking at any other metrics. That's not looking at any on-chain metrics or any of that stuff. That's just based off TA cycles, measurements, what to expect from previous markets and things like that. We could see a $9,500 Bitcoin, at which point I would be all about it. I would be calling bottom on every channel, inducing FOMO, like every other YouTuber out there who had been already doing that since like today. And that's where we'd be. But I don't know. I could see us hitting 9,500 sometime in 2023. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. But that's a part of my whole new mission, is because I have been studying this stuff. I have been watching charts. I have been in this doing so many things. Oh, I'm like looking at this as though you could see it. But I've been doing so much stuff for so long and making notes and make measurements, all kinds of stuff, man. And I've been pretty daggone good. My biggest fear is being wrong, and I don't want anyone following my TA. I do not feel comfortable with anybody following my TA. The same way I wasn't comfortable announcing when I had liquidated the majority or the rest of my crypto assets after the peak of the market. Because if I was wrong and everyone followed me and we happened to get like a third peak or another big springboard or something like that, then everybody like, Crow, you could made me lose money. I don't ever want to make anyone lose money. I don't ever want to do anything that costs people money. I don't ever want to put myself or other people in a situation that may hurt them. Everything I do and everything I say on this channel is with the most heartfelt, true intentions, period. Always have. All the way back in the beginning, when I was doing paid segments, I would tell you I got paid a Bitcoin to do this segment, and this project is dog shit. I'd stay away. Right? I mean, I've always tried to give it to everyone as straight as I could. And I have always tried to share what I think and what I feel based off of my research and what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean I'm right. And it doesn't mean I'm always right. I always joke and I say I'm always right sometimes. and I am always right sometimes. But I can't predict the future. I can only share what I believe could be true. And that goes across the board with anything. I mean, whether it's political narratives or whatever. I'm not I was gonna say Nosferatu, Nostradamus. But I do feel that I work pretty hard on being able to educate people as best I can with what I believe is happening. And I called the 2 peak cycle as well, but I was just copying Jason. That's funny. Well, now we're both always right sometimes. Matter of time, Bitcoin will go to 10K most likely. I mean, it's absolutely possible. So yeah, agree. 10, 12K soon indeed. Let's see. BitBoy said it's going to go up again on the very day of a crash and did stick with that theory. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I think next year around June, too much crap incoming in the economics and world next month. So BTC will tank as well. Yeah. And here's the thing that people have to understand. It's like, while the narrative around Bitcoin had been built around an independent financial transactional system, independent of the banks and independent of all these systems throughout the world. When institutions start entering the space, they act like institutions act. I mean, it ends up becoming not much different in price action and ebb and flow and all that. It ends up becoming not much different than the traditional stock markets, the S&P 500s, the NASDAQs, that sort of thing. Because you've got significant whales making significant moves in similar directions based off of a lot of things. And now that BlackRock is into the crypto space, and we all know about their Aladdin systems, their AI-driven market systems, if there's going to be algorithmic ebbs and flows to what's going on the grand scale of all crypto. I mean, that's just the way it is. And when we were getting these significant parabolic spikes and these overnight runs and all of that, that was just lower volume retail speculative traders and all of these algorithmic bots trying to play the TA, right? And so, yeah, we saw significant swings, and somebody could make a big whale trade, trigger every trading bot in the world to go do their thing, and the price would either spike up and then it come crashing back down. And the volatility was absolutely insane. And in 2016, 2017, I forget when that was, when they were like, we're going to launch futures, we're going to launch CME futures and all this stuff, and we're going to tame the price of Bitcoin. And it's like, to some extent they did. Look at what happened in the last market cycle. Not only did they basically time that at the peak of the market when they made those announcements and everything crashed, which I don't really think had anything to do with them. I think, of course, a lot of people love to take credit in the news for what's happening in the market, not the other way around. But I think ultimately, yeah, now we've been seeing a very steady kind of ebb and flow to things without a lot of these parabolic runs and parabolic drops. So, keep in mind, as I'm going to show this one more time, this white line here is basically me taking a bars pattern of the 2003 NASDAQ market. And if you look at it as it relates to what's going on right now, there are a lot of similarities in the price action to what's been happening since the last peak of the Bitcoin price in the last cycle and what's going on now. As you can see, I mean, it's very similar. And according to this, we could potentially be somewhere back around $50,000 by the next halving. And that's not going to be until 2024. So if that's the case, when is the bottom? Well, I don't think we've seen the bottom. You can see even here, the price went up here where it went down in the NASDAQ in around the same time frame. So we could get opposition here. But I think we're going to see, a big drop. I mean, this could be when we bottom. I mean, if I'm looking at what some of these large similarities are, I mean, the price here was 46 grand, but it could have been 18 if in Bitcoin's price. So maybe when Bitcoin's price is around 36, maybe this is about where we bottom. You know what? I'm going to mark that because why not? I'm going to say at the peak of this, maybe at that point we hit somewhere around 9,500. And I'll just leave that there and see what happens. If this happens to play out with any reasonable resemblance by February of 2023, I can absolutely see that. So, we'll have to see. Does that happen? Because if it does happen, then we're going to know that there's some significant correlation between the traditional market systems, their AI, the trading bots, whether it's Aladdin or whatever, because it's obvious they're trying to formulate a similar market cycle. And I think ultimately what we're going to see is we're going to see them trying to pull us out of this 4-year expected market cycle and put us into something a little more long-term with less ebbs and flows, but basically stuff that all the traditional markets can trade effectively while being covered, insured, and everything through all of the new regulation that's going to come. So, a lot of stuff's going to be changing, folks. And until I see a bottom, listen, when I think we've officially bottomed, I will absolutely call it. I will say, I believe we have officially bottomed, and I will make sure that it is a video that people are watching, and I will explain why. But you're going to have to subscribe if you want to know. Solana's network can't stay up. It's crap. I don't know. When was the last time Solana went down? It's been 2, 3, 4 times so far. I don't know. It seems to just kind of go on lunch break whenever it wants. What do you think is the reason for the overwhelming weakness that ADA has been showing compared to all other major alts? Well, I think supply to some degree. Supply is a thing. And let's face it, in a bear market, there's not that much use case. And Cardano isn't one. Cardano is one of those projects that doesn't have they do, but they're not, how do I explain this? Let's put it this way. If IOHK and an original panel of investors held more than 51% of the total Cardano supply, we wouldn't get the ebbs and flows, and we wouldn't get the downtrends, the elongated downtrends and things that I think we see today, like some of the other projects that I've seen and talked about even today in this video. When you maintain control of the majority of your tokens, it's a lot easier for you to, let's just say, take action on price action. All right. Cardano is one of the most decentralized tokens out there. Okay. And because of that, and with its supply, I haven't even checked. I might have to do an update on that. I might need to do an update on on chain and the number of holders, the number of nodes and things like that. Still have Cronodes. Cronode has been updated. It's been resolved. It's pumping blocks and all that fun stuff again. So but yeah, that's why, a lot of it is just control. Cardano is the way I look at Cardano and I look at Charles, and it's kind of been a recent revelation to me, is, Elon Musk, he basically eliminated his marketing in his marketing division, right? And he basically said, listen, we're not going to pump millions and millions and millions of dollars marketing our cars. We're going to put that money in the development of building a better product and let the product sell itself. That, to me, is what Cardano is also doing. They're focusing all of their energies on building, expanding, and perfecting what they've built, and they're going to let its technology speak for itself when it's ready. And I think that is what it is. And so from a purely speculative perspective, Cardano is a trickier trade. But I don't trade Cardano like that. What have I done since 2017? I accumulate, I hold, and then I exit when I feel that the time is right years later. Okay, that's what I do. Cardano to me is a long-term investment practice. It is not a Shiba Inu. It is not something that I'm going into on a 1 hour and I'm trying to scout 3 hours later for 2% profit. That's not what I'm doing with Cardano. To me, all the way back to December of 2017 when I did my very first Cardano video where I'm like, I don't even remember how many I bought, like 30,000 or whatever it was. And I told everybody, this is going to be a paradigm changer. This is going to be a project that I believe takes over the cryptocurrency space all over the world. And I said that in 2017, and look at what has happened since then. And it's not even finished yet. In my opinion, it's not finished. It's finished, but it's not perfected. And it's not in a position where I believe yet it is going to be the true global changer that I believe it absolutely will be. And so when I accumulate it, I've already started reaccumulating. I don't care if it goes down to 20 cents. I'm okay with that. I bought a bunch more Cardano at 50 cents, and I'm okay with that. If it goes down to 25 cents or it goes down to 20 cents, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to average down and double my position. Bam, just like that. With a smile on my face, I'm not going to sweat it. And then I'm going to stake it to Cronode, and I'm going to generate my passive yield for as long as I'm holding it long term through the remainder of the bear market into the bull market. And then we're going to see where we're at. And, there are a lot of projects out there that I might hold, I might invest in as short-term swing trades or maybe long-term trades, but I'm going to be gauging their growth. Because here's the one thing I also notice about the difference between, like a Solana or some of these other projects compared to Cardano. Cardano likes to basically be last, but first. And by that, I mean, you'll see a lot of alt projects spike in volume, spike in sales, spike in price, right? And Cardano won't do anything. And then when those things start to dump, Cardano shoots to the freaking moon. It's almost because, and I don't know if it's a concentrated thing. I don't know if it's something that whales have a means of manipulating, but it's a pattern that I've witnessed time and time again when it comes to Cardano and everything else. And a part of me wonders if the big whales, the big institutions, those that are actively trading significantly large positions in the space are doing so with basically the more speculative shit they want to be able to get in, spike, and get out of, and then they throw it into Cardano and watch the rise, and they maybe hold that a little longer term. I don't know what sense to make of that. Again, it's like everything else in the world. I can only speculate and post my opinion. Thank you, Dean B. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, all right. So we're at 52 minutes in, a little longer than I expected. 280 of you live now. That's nice to see. Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to cut this, but let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Like the video if you don't mind. And let me know in the comments below, what's the best time if I were to either go live or post a video every day, starting Monday. What do you think about the format? If I did 15 minutes of TA, not even like I did today. I didn't do TA today. I just showed you some charts. But like if I did 15 or so minutes of TA, maybe started showing my trades, showing exactly what I was doing. Do you promise not to act on exactly what I do? Because I don't want you following me. I don't want anybody to say, oh, Crowbit bought this and did this. And I'm going to do it. I don't want you to do that. I just want you to learn from my experience, further your own research elsewhere, and formulate your own trading systems. I really don't want people trying to copy trade me because I'm going to lose money. I'm telling you now. When it comes to scalping and trading, I'm probably going to lose some money. I might do exceedingly well. I don't know 100%, but I'm just putting that out there. But what do you think about me coming back, doing a daily live video or a daily upload at least, and starting off with TA, going into some news, and then going into some questions and thoughts? What do you think of that format? Let me know in the comments below. You can also let me know by liking this video, sharing this video, making sure you subscribe. And until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. I hope the weekend treated you well, and I will see you again soon. Until then, crow your coins.